So Project 1512 started just about 5 years ago, and our mission is to love others when life happens.
I was referred to Project 1512 by Pauline from Family Resources. She has been my counselor for a little over a year due to my situation with domestic violence. When she told me about Project 1512, I thought, oh my gosh, there's an organization that is willing to help and that reached out to me to see what they could do, and it was so appreciated, and I was so excited just to be able to get out of the little bit of a bind that I was in. I was shamed for many years by my ex-husband into never accepting help from anyone, and being able to reach out and being able to accept is another step in my healing journey. And I want others to know that if you need help, there are resources out there that are willing to help you, that don't judge, and are a gift from God. I would describe it as an amazing organization with loving and caring people. If it hadn't been for Project 1512 and their help with the past due rent, I honestly believe that I probably would have been evicted, and my kids and I would probably have been on the streets. I had no other resources at the time to help out. I had already reached out to several organizations and had been turned down. So it was a very scary time in my life, and I really didn't know what to do. And I'm just so thankful that Project 1512 stepped in the huge amount of a way that they did.
What we try to do is say, what is it that you need? We turn it back to them to say, what is it that you need that we can help with, so that we can really be of most assistance to them. And the people that we help then as well, there's a gap in our community that we have found over and over and over again. So we are assisting people who are not already receiving any other kind of income-based benefits. Maybe they make too much money, but yet still live paycheck to paycheck, as we know that happens, and that this one thing has really kind of set them back, and they need a little something to just get over that hump. So they're within the Quad Cities area. We serve both the Iowa and Illinois side, and we just really try to do what we can to make sure that they are getting the assistance that they need to just get them through their hard time.
So my daughter Emerson was diagnosed with B-cell ALL leukemia back in September of 2019, so right before this lovely year. And I have a colleague that I work with. She's a close friend of mine who she had kind of kept badgering me that I needed to lean on people for help. And I don't know, as a single mom, I've always our little trio, it's myself and Emerson and her little brother Phoenix, and we've just always weathered the storm on our own, and donated to different fundraisers and charities and things in the past, but you never feel like you're going to be one of those families that's on the receiving end. And so she kind of kept, telling me like, here, I'll get the paperwork for you and I'll bring it to you. And, she kind of gave me kind of a rundown about what Project 1512 did, and how you guys just, you're just kind of that light for families that are in need, depending, different struggles, financial hardships, divorce, illness, unexpected, things come up. And I just kind of nodded and, yeah, sure, I'll look into it. And then she went and got paperwork for me and set it on my desk. And she said, if you fill it out, I'll take it in. And I was like, no, that's okay. Yeah, no, I'll get around to it. And I think by like month 3, when I was finally starting to feel some of the pressure and the holidays were coming up, and I finally just kind of broke down. And then that was when I met with Monica. She had brought in some Christmas gifts, and I think that was what kind of really triggered it, because it was really important for the kids to have something under the tree. And I had already been kind of putting things aside, but just to have those 12 days of Christmas, that was really important for the kids. And I think at that point, that was when I kind of knew that, yeah, we were one of those families that kind of needed help and kind of needed some support, even if we didn't know. And then I think that's kind of, I don't know, if I had to describe Project 1512 to people, I think I would just say it's like an extension of your family. It's like a circle of friends you didn't know you had. So I had all these excuses as to why we didn't need it and why I could rally back. And so I kind of sat on it for quite a while. But then I think the breaking point was when I started to realize like what the financial stress was causing. So, going through like all of the little things that you don't think about. The gas cards were a godsend. I didn't, in the back of my head, I wasn't even planning on that. I think we've had more oil changes in the past year than I've ever had on the lifetime of any of my cars. So little things like that just kind of kept chipping away at that. And I think anytime you're under a lot of stress, all those other things that you don't really factor in, the illness itself was, crushing. And we thought like we can get through that. Like our mantra as our family has kind of become, let go of the things you can't control and, take charge of what you can. And we've kind of always used that. And then I think that was the point when we were like, okay, this is something you can't control. There's no more money coming in. There's, no more, breaks. You can't cut any more cost. So then I kind of looked at the bill, and I had been, texting with Monica back and forth, and she wasn't pushy, but it was just that kind of gentle nudge, like, hey, we're here for you. And I think I finally broke down when she had come into the office to meet me face to face. I think that was when it really hit me that I think the sincerity behind it. I think sometimes you feel like people, sometimes they want to be a part of something, and you kind of want to keep them, you want to shut them out for whatever reason. It's that defense mechanism, it's a coping skill. But for me, I think meeting her and putting a face to the project and just that genuine sincerity, I think that was what kind of sealed the deal for me. I'm really proud of the struggles that we've overcome, and being hit with this, it was like one where it's like, maybe you're not going to get through this, and you needed to, we had lots of, friends and family and things like that, but we also needed some other support that I wasn't willing to ask for. And so Project 1512 kind of supplemented that. It was something that I didn't know I needed, but I definitely did. And I'm very thankful that they, came through in such a big way. From the gift cards that I didn't think I needed. I've got 2 very picky eaters. Emerson's tastes changed with the chemo and the steroids and all the different, medications that she was on. So things as simple as like barbecue sauce tasted like vinegar. And so, even shopping, at the grocery store, everything had changed. And so now you're on like an even different, budget and dietary restrictions. And Phoenix is just, God love him, he's always been a picky eater. So when people would want to prepare casseroles and drop them off, it's like, well, that might work for me, but they're not able to eat that, or, he's lactose intolerant. So having those gift cards, like something just simple like that, and allowing me, in a way, it wasn't just the money itself, it was the fact that it was allowing me to take some kind of control. So I had that gift card, and I could still provide for my kids. I could still go and get what I needed. Sorry. So swallow your pride. It'll be worth it.
When we were pregnant with our 3rd child, I had preeclampsia and post-eclampsia, and so I had to take an extended time of maternity leave off, which was unpaid. And so our bills and our budget kind of suffered, and so she let us know to apply for Project 1512 for some assistance to help with our daycare cost. Accepting help was challenging. We like to do things on our own and provide for our family. We don't qualify for assistance for any other programs or federal assistance either. And we communicated with each other to see what kind of need our family was requesting. And at that time it was financial. We had 3 children in daycare, which was an enormous cost monthly for us. And so Monica communicated with us, and we filled out the form, and that was approved. And then they sent a check right to our daycare, which was nice because then it immediately just helped with that cost. When I found out about Project 1512, I went on to do some research because I wasn't familiar with the program as well. And right away, the Love One Another was crucial. I mean, it was a big picture for us. And so we hope to be able to pay that forward as well. That program, the Loving One Another, definitely we felt that love from receiving that assistance. So when we encourage or when we see others that need assistance, we would probably send them in the direction of Project 1512. It is a great program, and again, like I said, we didn't qualify for any assistance elsewhere, and so it was nice to have a program that would help families pretty much no matter what. Like you would say, what's your slogan?
Living the American dream.
So definitely back on track and able to provide for our family.
We found there's not one other organization in the Quad Cities that provides the services that we provide, like not cookie cutter. We kind of meet with the people and try to decide what their greatest need is that we can kind of just take off their plate. We found when people are in crisis situations, ourselves, we've been in, you're just overwhelmed with things that you don't know what you might need help with. So I kind of try to be like, hey, just think about what's one thing we can take off your plate. Is it a rent bill? Is it one medical bill? Is it groceries? Is it gas cards? Just to kind of prompt them along that, just help the situation move along.
We've been in existence for a couple years now, and from the beginning, Project 1512 has assisted the women that we serve. Now, oftentimes, I always tell the team, and we've been talking, oftentimes when women are moving forward from abuse, they are blessed to get a job, but sometimes that job only is a few dollars above the poverty line or a couple $100s above the poverty line, so they may not qualify for things like food stamps and rental assistance and other things, even though they're in need of that financial assistance. And so Project 1512 helps to fill that gap so that women can have, sometimes I was saying, sometimes women just need a pat on the back and a little financial assistance to help them to move that mountain that's literally and metaphorically there for them and their children. And so there was one case, lady sweet as pie, but she had been in a domestic violence marriage for many years, gotten out of that marriage, was moving forward in life in another healthy marriage, but something happened to trigger her trauma and that abuse from that relationship years ago, and so she took time away from her job because she was having suicidal thoughts, deep dark depression, and her husband on top of that had cancer, and so he was going through treatment. In addition to that, they had moved out to a more rural area, and the insulation in their roof and other places in their house wasn't there, and so they were literally cold in the winter months. And so Project 1512 literally helped to provide the resources so that they could get that insulation in their home. And in the midst of that, now I just, for us as Christians, praise report, because of Project 1512's assistance, they were able to insulate their home. The survivor was able to get the therapeutic services she needs. Healing is a journey, so she continues on that journey. Her husband is in remission, thanks be to God. And I just showed Carly some pictures of that safe space. They turned the attic where the insulation was into a safe space for that survivor. And so you all are amazing. Please donate to Project 1512. You all are literally helping to save lives, change lives, and those financial resources, giving with love and compassion, are literally helping us to journey with women healing from violence and abuse in a really powerful way. So God bless you. Thank you. And we'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Peace.
The vast majority of our donations do come from private donors. So again, we're asking you to help us out with the future of Project 1512, and we don't know what's around the corner. None of us know what's around the corner, but we do know that there are people in our community who need help now and who are going to need help in the next year. We need to be able to continue to reach out to them and to be able to show them the love that they need.